Well, hello and welcome to the I Can't Move podcast, the special Halloween episode. So happy Halloween, everybody. I'm James.
I'm Jorge.
So we had a little pop-up episode we wanted to do for you guys, and we were going to talk about the scariest true stories we have ever heard. We've got a few treats. We've got some people of their audio recording of telling their stories. So we'll just jump right into this. So we have our first phone call.
So our first phone call is going to be from Sergio from Texas. And I gotta say, this was let's say pretty unsettling. So let's go ahead and hear it.
So this was this incident happened back I want to say in the year 2019, 2020. Um I was married at the time, and I was overseas in Germany, and we had our own uh house, like apartment, that the military had provided for us. And for whatever reason, I kind of got really into skulls. I don't know what it was about them. I just really liked them. And I remember talking to my now ex-wife that I wanted to get a key bowl. And so she was looking for a key bowl on Amazon, and she found it was like a lifelike skull, and it was actually a flower pot. Um, but we used that as a key bowl. And around this time, we were having a lot of rough patches in the marriage. It almost kind of felt like a spiritual attack, if you will. I'm not too sure. But I remember when we got this skull in particular, a lot of weird stuff was happening in the house. Um, I remember my ex-wife, she would wake up with nightmares of she would see figures, or she would see silhouettes or whatever, and she was afraid to go into one room in particular. That's where I kept all my um, military memorabilia, all my gear. And where the room was is that whenever you open the front door, there's a long hallway. And when you open the door to the left, that's where my military room was. That's where my office was. And that's where I would keep like my computer and stuff like that. Well, I remember it was roughly about 2 a.m. I wake up because I can kind of hear something, and it was my ex-wife, and she was scared. I mean, covering her face with the blanket, shaking, and I was asking, "Hey, what's going on?" And she said that she could hear talking in the uh, in the hallway. So as I'm trying to wake up, I get out of bed and I'm walking slowly down the hallway, and I can hear talking. And um, I open up the room, and my laptop, which is closed, which again, I haven't been on my laptop all day, the day before, nothing. But I open my laptop, and it's a news station. Now, keep in mind, I haven't been on my laptop for like 2 days. I don't watch the news at all. And the news was playing, and my screen was also black. So I shut everything down, turned off my laptop, and for some reason, still just had like this feeling that something was in our apartment, something was watching her. Um, by that time, we had had this skull flower pot for, I want to say, about a month to 2 months, and just weird things were just happening. So we decided to get rid of it. And what was very interesting is whenever we had posted it on Facebook Marketplace, the person that wanted it was actually a Wiccan. She wanted this flower pot, and she offered us however much we wanted for it. So I mean, we sold it to her, but after we got rid of that skull flower pot, it just, something about it was just way too lifelike. It was just, yeah, it was, we decided no more skulls, no more anything. So that was probably the scariest thing that's happened to me for sure.
Really interesting. I was kind of writing down a couple of notes as I was listening to the story, and I do think it is kind of important that, for one, how he mentioned that he was already having issues in the home.
Yeah.
So, as someone who is married, as someone who's married, I can definitely say that sometimes whenever you are uh, experiencing issues with, whenever you're experiencing spousal issues, like, yeah, there is a spiritual element to it. And I definitely think that um, sometimes, depending on how bad that is, I mean, you don't know what kind of doors you're opening. I do think that that is an important detail. But what do you think?
I think the fact that the skeleton bowl was clearly bringing in more problems. I know. Did he say he ordered it off Amazon?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And then when they were trying to get rid of it, someone who practices, you know, Wiccan or witchcraft was trying to purchase it. I just thought it's really interesting. So maybe it wasn't just a bowl. Maybe it was had something attached to it.
Yeah, do you kind of okay? So I was gonna ask this last, but just for the fact of the matter that we're kind of already on this, do you think that there are just some objects that we just shouldn't have in our homes, regardless of where we got it from?
Yeah, yeah, I do.
I agree. And our second call will be from Anna from Illinois.
I used to go to this church, and before we didn't have an actual building. We would just like get together at people's houses. We didn't have enough people to like have an actual building, but eventually we got enough people and we found this building, and it was really, really old. And we got it for a really good price because the only people who went there were like five grandmas. So we started going there, and before we ever started having service there, our pastors went in there just to pray over the place, to bless it, and just get it ready for all the services that we're going to have. And I wasn't there for this particular situation, but afterwards they were telling us about what was happening, but they started praying, and they were saying that every door in that place started opening and shutting, and they started hearing like weird noises, and it was just like you can feel how like heavy it was there just was in that place. And they were hearing just like creaking and noises and all that stuff. And the more that they prayed for it, like the harsher all of this stuff got, until finally it just stopped. And for me, when I was going to this church, I felt a lot of that stuff too. Um, a lot of times I would stay there late just to do like either cleaning or like putting up the bulletin board or wherever it may be. And I remember on multiple occasions, I would feel like that same heaviness that they were talking about, and almost like you can look over your shoulder and like someone would be standing behind you. Like it was that kind of feeling that you had eyes on you everywhere. And I remember walking down the hall, and I'm walking and I'm like, what the heck? Is somebody walking behind me? Because it was like a double set of footsteps. Like I could hear footsteps walking behind me. And I kept looking behind me and there was nobody there. But as soon as I would start walking, like those footsteps would start. And it was just like that super, like an uneasy feeling. Like it was the weirdest thing. I've never experienced this before, but I hated being there by myself. And I like started refusing being there by myself because I just got so scared. But what we ended up finding out, we were there on a Sunday, and the people who owned this church, they had a lot of like bulletin boards hung up and just like blocking all of the walls. And on one particular Sunday, we were just taking pictures, like laughing, talking, and we happened to like, oh, either a bulletin had come loose or something happened, I don't know, but we happened to look at the wall and there was a Freemason sign on there. So we didn't know, but this building used to be a Freemason temple. So we were just like, oh my gosh, like that makes so much sense because like the weird, just like spiritual things going on were absolutely crazy. And on top of that, this church also hosted a lot of like AA, NA meetings and stuff, and I know like that comes with a lot of spiritual warfare as well. But yeah, it was the craziest thing. I've never experienced that before in my life. I was so scared.
Wow.
Man, yeah.
Uh, First off, thank you, Anna, for sending us that recording. She was a really good storyteller. When she was talking about the small church, I could visualize her and the footsteps. It's like we've all been inside small churches like that.
Yes.
And I was like, I feel like I'm there. I'm almost at
Yeah,
goosebumps.
she is a good storyteller.
Yeah.
That's great. Anna, you should call back and tell us
Yeah.
another story. Please do. Yeah, what really interested me was the fact that she said that there were some that what did she say, the elders of the church, or there was some leadership that got together and prayed,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the more that they prayed, the harsher things
The harsher
got.
things go. Yeah.
Yeah, it does kind of sound like, I mean, that
Sounds like
sounds like
there were some hardcore demonic things or evil things going on, especially since uncovering the Freemason sign that was going on before that. So there was a lot of battle
yeah, and
to the church.
I'll also say this too. I will absolutely always try to find a reasonable explanation for stuff, but but I honestly don't think that there is a reasonable explanation for doors opening at the exact same time.
No,
Multiple doors opening at the exact same time. It's not like one big giant draft is gonna, force a bunch of doors open simultaneously.
no.
Um, the one thing that I really appreciate was her description of that heaviness that she felt, like someone was behind her. That is, blech.
The footsteps.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look to my left right now, but yeah, I feel like. Hello?
What do you think that could have been? One of the doors opening?
Yeah, a bipedal door just walking behind her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but Anna, kudos. You're a very good storyteller, and I hope that problem is resolved.
Yeah. It sounds like, I don't know. She may not go there anymore. I would be surprised if she did.
Yeah.
All right. The third call is going to be Caitlyn. She is from the Midwest, and she actually had two stories for us.
All right.
That first time that I ever saw something in my room, now that I think about it, was I was again in the same bedroom in Missouri, and I woke up, but I felt something staring at me in the corner of the room. And like didn't it it started in the corner, but then it started pacing back and forth. And I just remember staring at it and like my body froze. I could not move an inch. I genuinely thought I was paralyzed. But it was 100% fear. And when it went to the corner, I finally built up the courage. I prayed like, God, give me strength. And I jumped out of bed, ran to room, our oldest sister, and I was like, "Can I please sleep with you? I'm really scared. I'm seeing things in my room." And she said, "Yeah, sure, whatever," in her half asleep state. And then I slept in her room with her, still uneasy, but slept better than in my room. And she said that in the morning, she told me that as soon as I started sleeping with her, she started having nightmares.
Seeing something pacing in the corner of your room in the dark, uh,
Uh, I encourage you to listen to our first episode about sleep paralysis. It didn't sound like, I don't know if you had sleep paralysis, but you definitely saw something. And the idea that you went to go to your sister's room for comfort and then you passed it on to her, just totally
that
believable. I feel for you.
that is got to be one of the most interesting things about this whole story. The fact that she went through this and then she passed it on. Um, that is what's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Um,
Big whoa factor.
because it doesn't sound like, because it doesn't sound like sleep paralysis. It sounds
No,
like,
she,
because if we remember, we have visual, audible, and tactile. Tactile being you feel like you are the one being moved by
mhm.
a foreign force or whatever. She was able to sit right up and run out of the room. And she clearly states that she was just terrified, and that's the reason why
Mhm.
she initially didn't move. Um, Gross. My heart really does go out to her because, or anybody that experiences something that vulnerable, because you're pretty vulnerable in those situations, you know. Um, so I mean, what what was it? What could possibly cause that illusion of something pacing in the corner of a room? A fan, you know,
Yeah.
or was it wind blowing into a room and one of the curtains was moving around or
Yeah.
something?
I, I don't know. It definitely sounds like a spiritual attack to me. And I hope it was resolved in some way, or I hope it went away quickly.
Guess we're getting
Prayer,
ready to.
prayer is number one.
Yeah, I was gonna say she said that she prayed, so it sounds like
Mm-hmm.
she's a believer.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know. We'll move on to her next story. We'll see if it's resolved or not.
Okay.
I had my room upstairs and I was asleep in the twin bed and I woke up because I felt like someone was staring at me and I looked over and I saw this shadowy figure standing in um it was standing right next to the bed and it I like looked over at it and I literally felt so scared like I couldn't move at all and it started to slide its hand across the bed and then I was moving backward and I like swatted my hand at its hand and it pulled back and then it started doing it again and then I swatted my hand at it again and it pulled back and then it leaned over me and it was like all I could smell was breath, but there were no eyes. Like, you know how when someone's standing, eventually your eyes kind of adjust and then you can see somewhat of a face? Like, no, it was just a dark figure, no eyes, but it felt evil. And I could smell breath, but it wasn't like a human, like, I don't know how to explain it. And then the light turned on in the bathroom and it like ducked underneath the bed and I jumped up and ran to the bathroom and it was and he woke up in the middle of the night, I guess, to go to the bathroom and I asked him if he was in my room and he said, "No, I have no idea what you're talking about." And then I just started crying.
I'm pretty sure our audience would love to know if this has been resolved or not.
I that that's wild, dude. I surrender. Oh my goodness. She started like, oh, it's the hand, and then it's like then it's breathing on her. Um Man, this poor girl has been through a lot.
Yeah, the one thing that really gets me, and this is also how you also know it shouldn't be a case of sleep paralysis, the fact that she actively like swatted
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah. Oh man.
I
I am
would,
so sorry. I believe you 100%. I just once again another great storyteller because those visuals are just enough to
yeah,
make me sick.
I'm gonna puke.
Gonna puke on
I
the mic.
would like to know how old she was whenever that happened,
Yeah.
and I'm also curious too, because she said that she couldn't explain the smell of the breath.
Yeah, that gives me the heebie-jeebies. That kind of tells me, you know, I would know she if she had an animal in the house, but it's a very distinct detail to say we all know what someone in your face with their breath smells like, and that it doesn't smell like a person.
Right.
Yeah.
Did it smell like, yeah, did it smell like an animal? I mean, I would love to see if she could possibly see what sulfur smells like and see if that's what the smell was like. Um,
Hmm.
or maybe rotting meat or something. Uh, or possibly, what if this was a legitimate, like, lucid dream?
Lucid dream or a succubus,
Yeah, something.
incubus. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, what if it was legitimately a dream and it feels, because there have been those. I have had quite a few dreams where it feels like I'm legitimately awake and that I'm actually experiencing it, and it leaves
Hmm.
me questioning my reality.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
know, man, that is nuts. Again, I'm pretty sure the audience would like to know if that has been resolved. So, Caitlin, we would absolutely love to hear from you again
Yes. Thank you
as
for that.
well.
So our next call is from Chuck. Let's take a listen.
Hey, I'm Chuck. I've got a story for you. Back in my early 20s, me and my wife and my oldest son, he was just probably 5 or 6 years old at the time, were living in town. And I was working as a maintenance tech at a factory, and I had befriended a guy, an older man named Buzz. That was his nickname. And hung out quite a bit, played a lot of music together, partied, drank and all that good stuff. And we I kind of drifted away from him for a while, and because he got hard into alcohol, liquor, and just getting blackout drunk and just struggling really hard. And I should have been a better friend, at the time. I regret it. But one night at my house, I was downstairs. I think my wife was upstairs. I think she may have been pregnant with our second child at the time. I had fell asleep downstairs in our spare bedroom. I must have been down there playing video games or something late. I worked second shift, I believe. I was asleep in the bed down there, and I don't know. It must have been around. It was the early morning hours. I was laying in bed, and all of a sudden I felt a. I didn't know if I was dreaming or what, but I felt like there was someone in the room with me. Something. It was so real. They were right. I was right up by my head in the bed. They were like leaning down over me, and they were trying to say something. It was just a black face. I couldn't make any features out really. Just a mouth open, like almost like they were in distress and anguish. I guess is the word for it, or something. And it freaked me out. It scared me super bad. I mean, I woke up, threw the sheets, threw the covers off, flipped on the light to look around, and nobody was in there. But my heart was racing, and I was almost in tears. I was just freaked out. So I ran upstairs, and it must have been 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I got in bed with my wife and told her what had happened. And she may not have heard me at all. I don't think she remembers me trying to wake her up, but I told her there was something in the room with me downstairs, and it freaked me out super bad. And it took me a while to get back to sleep that night up in bed. And the presence almost had a feeling like it felt like they couldn't breathe, or they were struggling really bad or something. I don't know if, or it was trying to tell me something. I don't know, but that was the vibe I got. I don't think it was necessarily evil, but it just caught me off guard majorly. And whatever it was, I don't know even. I thought it may have been a dream, maybe. But anyways, I went to bed, woke up the next day, went to work, usual things, and about a day or two later, everybody at work started asking where Buzz was. We found out we had his neighbor go check on him, and they found him dead. He had apparently died a night or two before of a drug overdose. He was partying with some guys. So I believe, in my opinion, it was too coincidental that happened to me. I never had anything like that happen before or since, to where it got my attention that much and scared me that bad and had that big of an impact. But I think that when he died, his spirit, his soul, something, his ghost, if you want to call it that, came to either, what I think he was trying to do was tell me to, straighten up and don't make the same mistakes he made. And it was his way of just trying to say one last goodbye. And yeah, that was it. Thanks.
Dude, I got chills.
Dude, the twist at the end with, you're like, oh my gosh, he mentioned the Buzz guy at the beginning, and then coincidentally, like he said, he was visited by, something, and then all of a sudden, his friend is found dead. I mean,
Yeah, that's really sad, and I'm definitely really sorry, Chuck. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. One of the things I did find interesting, though, is how he and our previous caller kind of explained a similar,
very similar.
very similar occasion where they see a black face, but they don't see eyes.
Mhm.
They see a mouth,
Mm-hmm.
And
He
the
did. He
only
didn't say breathing, but he said the mouth was open.
right.
But like they were having trouble breathing or something.
Right. So what do you think? I mean, so what do you think that ultimately was happening? Do you think that you would agree with Chuck's explanation for like what happened, or do you think that you might have a different outlook?
It's his experience. I mean, I say with most things, trust your gut. Your gut tends to be, it's almost like it guides you in the right direction. But I mean, if he feels like it might have something to do with his friend that died, I believe it. Um, it it's the experience itself was horrifying. I mean, I can't imagine seeing that, and then the way he kicked off the blankets and went upstairs and tried to tell his wife. I mean, just horrible, horrible. But regardless, this stuff happens. I think that's the point. This stuff does happen, and Chuck, we appreciate you sharing that. I hope you're at peace with that happening. Well, thank you very much, anybody who's listening to this special Halloween episode. If you like our stuff, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you have a story or if you have a comment, please comment. But if you have a story and you want to send it to us in a written form or audio, please email us at ican'tmovepodcast@yahoo.com. We would love to hear from you. And everyone have a safe Halloween. We'll see you later.
Peace.
Peace.